Episode 3, The Empathy Audit. Open on Internal Bureau of Narrative Hygiene, day. A beige, windowless office. The air is thick with the hum of failing fluorescent lights. One light flickers in a perfect, maddening rhythm. It is said that for every tear shed on earth, a corresponding form must be filed in triplicate in the cosmos. This is the story of the people who file those forms. Their mission is not to create joy or prevent sorrow, but to ensure that all human feeling is properly amortized and does not exceed the quarterly emotional budget. Welcome to the Bureau of Narrative Hygiene. Mandrell sits at a metal desk. He is trying to open a file on his ancient computer by dragging the icon to the recycle bin and then retrieving it. This is the only way it works. An error message appears. Render the goat is in the corner, quietly and intensely trying to teach itself chess, moving the pieces with its tongue. It seems to be losing. Mandrell, a quiet, tired exhale.
Compliance failure. That's a Tuesday.
Mandrell retrieves the paper. Mandrell clips the form to a clipboard. He picks up a pen with the Bureau logo on it. He clicks it. The click is silent and unsatisfying. Mandrell, to the goat who doesn't look up.
I'm going to the damp century. Try not to develop a coherent ideology while I'm gone.
Cut 2. A filthy London street, 1851. A thick, greasy fog reduces visibility to about 5 feet. The only sounds are wet coughing and the distant, rhythmic squeaking of a rusty sign. Mandrell materializes into the muck with a soft thump. His trench coat immediately looks 10 pounds heavier. London, where the air has the consistency of soup and the primary color is brown. A perfect incubator for profitable misery and the kind of high-grade, weaponizable melancholy that can throw off cosmic balance sheets for centuries. Mandrell pulls out a small gray device that looks like a car's OBD2 scanner. He points it into the fog. A single, pathetic LED blinks. The device's screen shows a single bar graph labeled Pathos. The bar is bright, throbbing red, and has smashed through the top of the graph, which is labeled Acceptable Levels of Vague Sadness.
Yep, he's cooking the emotional books.
Render the goat fades into existence next to him and immediately begins licking the fog with long, contemplative strokes. Int Charles Dickens' study, day. The room is a whirlwind of paper and frantic energy. Charles Dickens, a man who looks like he's made of pure nervous tension and facial hair, is acting out a scene to himself. Charles, who is now clutching his heart.
And little Timple, shivering with his adorable, plot-relevant consumption, looks to the sky and whispers, "Is heaven as cold as this cruel earth? Oh, the dividends of sorrow, the sheer, unadulterated marketability of a child's tear."
A flat, bureaucratic knock echoes. Before Dickens can respond, Mandrell enters.
Mr. Dickens, I'm Agent Mandrell, Bureau of Narrative Hygiene, Compliance Division. I have you down for a mandatory empathy audit.
Spinning around, quill raised like a tiny sword.
An audit? Sir, my imagination is a sovereign nation. It has no treaty with the dreary world of ledgers and compliance.
That nation is currently in violation of intertemporal emotional regulations. You're producing artisanal-grade pathos without a license. It's causing downstream ripples. By 2077, your work is projected to inspire a global relief effort, so effective it eradicates all suffering and plunges humanity into a listless, creatively bankrupt utopia. We can't have that.
He thrusts the clipboard at Dickens.
This is absurd. Acceptable pathos quotient. You want to put a quota on feeling, on art.
We just want to make sure it's sustainable. Think of me as a sustainability consultant for the human soul. Now, if you'll just sign the 812-C, it authorizes us to install a small narrative governor on your inspiration. You'll barely notice it. You'll probably just find yourself writing more about property disputes. Maybe a really interesting protagonist who is passionate about infrastructure.
Render the goat is now sitting in Dickens' chair, staring at a blank sheet of paper on the desk, with an expression of intense, crippling writer's block.
Never. My work is a sacred flame, a beacon for...
Mr. Dickens, I'm going to be frank. The alternative to you signing this is me having to fill out a 12-stroke non-compliance form. I hate filling out that form. It has a carbon copy.
A child chimney sweep silently falls past the window. Mandrell glances at it, then back at Dickens.
South, can we just get this done?
Dickens looks at Mandrell, a man with no fire in his eyes whatsoever. He looks at the form, an artifact of pure, soul-destroying bureaucracy. He looks at his goat, which has now picked up a quill and is angrily stabbing the blank paper with it. The fight drains out of him. And so, Charles Dickens, the master chronicler of the human heart, was defeated. Not by critics, or poverty, or despair, but by the quiet, existential threat of someone else's inconvenient paperwork. With a trembling hand, Dickens signs his name. The vibrant, emotional energy in the room vanishes. It now has the ambiance of a DMV. Dickens blinks slowly. His voice is now calm, measured.
Remarkable. The story of Little Temple. It feels inefficient. The emotional overhead is simply too high. What if, instead of dying, he leverages his ailment to pioneer a new insurance model for at-risk youths? There's a narrative. A solid, 3-act structure with a sensible return on investment.
Now you're thinking like a manager. My work here is done.
He takes the clipboard and turns to leave. Render the goat puts the quill down, as if satisfied with its unwritten work, and follows, pausing at the door.
Keep your pathos levels within the indicated parameters, and we won't have to have this conversation again. Have the rest of your day.
He and the goat dematerialize with a sound like a sigh. Dickens, to his empty room.
A tale of two. Accounting departments. Yes. Strong. Very strong.
Fade out.